slaughtered. He's the shepherd of his flock. He is from everlasting to everlasting. That he said that you will be born, you will give birth to a child. Now I find it weird that she answers him. Now I find it astonishing how Mary responds to him. She says, "How can this be since I know not a man? I never had sex before. I'm a virgin. I'm about to be married to a man named Joseph." God specially delivered a seed in Mary's womb, and she has never been entered into. Now, it boggles me. Why does God choose Mary? There were a lot of virgins God could have chose from the house of David. A lot. Remember that Mary and Joseph come from the house of David. They come from the bloodline of David. So there was a lot of virgins God could have chosen from the house of David. We have a lot of discussions about this, a lot of understanding about this, and we have a lot of different views about why God chose Mary, and they are all accurately right. But God chooses Mary because of her ancestors. It's some of you today who are CEOs, who own businesses, who are in college, who are living in nice areas, who are walking in something that your ancestors have worked hard for you to have, that they never, ever themselves walked in. Abraham was promised to have many nations, to be a great people. He died without seeing that promise fulfilled. Some of your ancestors have died without seeing their promise fulfilled, not seeing their work fulfilled. But you are living in that work that they had done with their hands. Now, Mary, it just says that Mary, you are highly favored among God. In many different types of Bibles and different types of books, she's highly favored of God. Yeah. God says, I will be merciful unto 1,000 generations and to those who are faithful to me. Why do you think that when Solomon falls, that God doesn't rip the kingdom from him so suddenly, that he waits till Solomon died? He said, because of your father David's sake, I will not tear the kingdom out of your hand at this moment, but I will do it in your son's lifetime. He told Josiah, King Josiah, he says, tell Josiah that I said that all that I have prophesied in this book will come true, but it will not come in his time. He told Hezekiah, he said, Isaiah, go tell Hezekiah this. Since he has done this great sin in my sight, I will bring destruction to his kingdom, but it will not happen in his lifetime. Because of your ancestors, because of your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, and those before you, because of them, God delivered something inside of you. He gave you something that you never worked for. He sent down Christ, and we didn't earn. We did not earn his presence, but he sent them down. God delivered, he gave you something, he delivered something to you that you didn't work for, that other people worked for. Just like Mary. She didn't do nothing big in the Bible. She did nothing great like Rahab. She did nothing great like Esther or like Ruth. She did nothing great in such a that fashion. She did nothing great like Deborah. She did nothing great like these women in the Bible. Did nothing great that was so that was so great that God chose her. Did nothing great. But because of her ancestors' faith and all that they built up, God chose her. Now, think about it. Mary had her future already planned. It said that she was to be betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, the house of David. Her future's already planned. Well, when I get married, I'm going to have children. We're going to do this and that. Some of you have already planned your life out. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then God comes and says, stop the press. Hold up. Wait a minute. You write me a book. You go to college. You go cross seas and preach my word. You go down to the inner cities and start up a foundation. You start up an organization. You begin to give away. You begin to start a family. You marry that woman. You marry that man. You. He'd be like, well, my future's already made up. See how my response to him? He says, she embraces it. She says, well, how is this? I do not know a man. He said, because the Holy Spirit will give it unto you. I have a place to seed inside of your womb, bosom, and it's going to grow. Remember, said, well, I never worked for the seed, God. He says, God will put it there himself. Some of you now are living the life or reaping the harvest that you never, ever, 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 ever worked for. And some of you are about to receive this delivery. God's about to place something in your life right now. A new dream, a new vision, a new purpose. He's about to birth something inside of you that you never thought of what can happen. Who thought that God could make a virgin pregnant? I mean, he gave Sarah a baby in her old age, but it never crossed someone's mind. How can God choose me? I'm from the inner city. Or how can God choose me? I'm poor. I don't have nothing. How can I own a business? How can I do this? How can I go to college? My family didn't go, but they fought and they died for it. How can this be? How can he choose me? Mary said, I'm a virgin. I'm from the city. I have no education. I have no qualifications in this area of work. How can I be a manager of this company? How can I be a CEO? How can I be a lawyer when I don't, I don't know lawyers? How can I be a doctor when I can't pronounce the terms of the words? God says, I put it inside of you, so should it be. We meet a woman in the earlier chapters of Luke, chapter 1, verse 6 through 7, and 11 through 14. Her name is Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God. Let's go to verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the division of Abijah. His wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinance of the Lord blameless. But they had no children because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well advanced in years. Verse 11 says, Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing on the right side of the altar of the incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said to him, Do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard. And your wife Elizabeth will bear a son, and you should call his name John. And you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink. He will also be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. And he will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God. I put a little 14 on my bad. We meet a woman named Elizabeth, who comes from the family of Aaron, the Levite, the first priest in Israel, Israel's first priest, and he's a Levi. We meet her husband and Zacharias and her. They are both righteous people, blameless before God. They are well advanced in age, and she's barren. She's barren. Now, she tried for many years to have a child. Tried. But it just didn't happen. She was now too old to have children.